Welcome to the Wild Simplicity podcast, the podcast for awakening women who are ready to shed the layers, let go of the clutter, and rediscover their wild and wonderful selves that lie beneath. I'm Anna Day, and together we'll explore how to simplify, release what's no longer serving us, and embrace the possibility of living fully in this one wild and precious life. Whether you're a dreamer, a seeker, or someone who craves doing things differently, this space is for you. Let's dive in and awaken the magic within. Hello and welcome back to the Wild Simplicity podcast. This is Anna and I'm here for the first time doing a video podcast. I haven't done this before. I usually record an audio and I've been dabbling with video and decided to try it out today, and here we are. And this week I had a friend of mine, Gemma, over visiting me here in Portugal, and I was talking to her about presence, and it really was coming to me as we were here together, the concept of presence and what is presence. And I had this real desire to know presence, to describe presence and to feel it. And knowing that she was here for a few days, she hadn't been here before. I've been living here for now nearly 2.5 years. So it was such a gift for her to come and be here with me and for us to spend time together. And it was, I think I had this craving to really relish the time together and nourish ourselves with it. And the weekend before she came, the couple of days before she came, I had been really busy. There had been a few things on with the kids, a few activities. So it was quite fast paced and I didn't have a chance to stop and to rest and to acknowledge the fact that she was coming and to spend time at all thinking about it. It just happened. The next morning came and then I went to the airport to collect her, and then there we were. And so I really wanted to create a space for us to think about presence and what it is and how we feel it in the body. And I have spoken about the passage of time before and how that is such a big thing. It's quite a painful thing. It's quite an emotional thing for a lot of people who are highly sensitive, especially. And it particularly happens for me from going from autumn into winter and going from spring into summer. And also from summer, actually it's more the summer. So the entering into summer and the exiting from summer into autumn. And it comes in waves, and I notice the passage of time, and it's, I want to grasp at time. I feel like sometimes I want to dig my heels in and just slow down. And because sometimes it feels like I'm going at breakneck speed through time and through the years and through the weeks and months. And so there's often this longing to really slow down time and to stop time. And I know that can't happen. Real presence, I think, it's not stopping time, but it's having a different relationship with time. And that's something I'm learning more and more. And so talking with Gemma and discussing what presence is and how, I kept saying to her and holding on to her and saying, we're here now. This is happening. And let's really feel into being here together, being grounded in the earth, and taking time to slow down and to really take it all in rather than rushing into, going to see things or do things. And so we really took our time, and I was feeling into the, my breath. And I think that's the key. It's for being present. It's the portal is the body. I think our access point to presence is the body. And that's what's true for me. That's what I feel when, particularly the recent mirror practices I've been doing in the morning for the last few weeks. And I spoke about last week in the podcast, and how that brings me into presence in the morning, because often I can wake up from that real sleepy state into, whoa, I'm here in this room. And then it goes, and everything just pops into my brain of what I have to do, what I haven't done, what is happening over the next few days, what I have to give the kids for lunch that morning. It all just starts really, really fast. And so I often slow down my rate of speech in my thoughts in my head. That helps. and then going and looking in the mirror and being with myself, and really, I put my hand on my heart usually, or on my belly. So connecting with my body, sometimes saying to myself, I'm here, and creating that sense of knowing and reiteration that I'm here right now. And there's been this craving within me to create this presence in my day-to-day life, to really enjoy and to recognize the beautiful moments in the mundane, and not come to the end of life and look back thinking, oh, what was that? I missed so many parts because I wasn't present. And I think for a lot of my childhood, I spent, as a sensitive child, a lot of time removed out of my body because things were very overwhelming for me and I couldn't be present in my body. And so I don't have a lot of grounded memories as a child. I have some, they're fleeting, but they're usually to do with if I was eating some delicious food, or if people can describe where I was, the environment, I can often get to the memory. And that's because it's coming through the senses, through my body. My body remembers. But I spent a lot of time yet associated and out of my body, and not connected within myself and connected to my body. And so I have that reference point of what it's like to be disconnected. And now moving into more and more times where I am connected during the day, and I can really, in real time, be with myself. So that's an amazing change, and really realizing what, like, the essence of life and what we are all striving for, seeking for. It's not out there, it's in here, and it's now. And even when I'm here now, how can, as I'm speaking on a podcast, which is something a little bit, be out of the ordinary day-to-day things I would be doing, how can I still stay with myself, stay with my breath, and have an awareness of myself, my body on the chair in this space, and take the breath to be here and realize. And I don't want it to, I've read a lot of things and a lot of accounts from people who have really been thrown into the deep presence of how important and beautiful life is, but they've had to go through hardships to get there, like a very dramatic illness or loss of a loved one, or some very deeply hurtful, painful experience. And what can we learn and not have to wait to go through something very painful for ourselves to experience the presence? How can we experience the presence now with all the wealth of information we have and experiences from other people and each other of what life is, what life's about, what we're feeling, what we're tuning into? And this is something that's really, it's a real curiosity for me. Particularly because my kids are growing up, as we all are, but they are now 8 and 10. And I feel I have such presence with them now, because I didn't in the early years, because, well, early years motherhood is pretty insane, as those of you who are parents and mothers know. And that sleep deprivation can take away presence sometimes. And because I wasn't aware of all this stuff when I was pregnant with my 2 kids, and when I was in those early years. And they're 2 years apart. They're 2 years and 1 month apart. So it was very, very intense for a long time. And the moments of presence were there, but they weren't very frequent or often. It was always going on to the next thing. What's next? And even striving I wanted to start my business, Wild Simplicity. And that happened when my daughter was coming on 2, I think. And that was always the next thing. That's, we're encouraged in this world to look for the next thing rather than being with what's here and now. We're encouraged to keep, okay, you've got to this point now. What's next? What's the next goal? What's the next achievement? What's the next success? What's the next level of improvement for yourself? And we are rarely encouraged to be in the here and now. And I've spent a lot of my time in the past, lamenting the past, what happened, regret, shame, or in the future in worry or anxiety. And so the antidote to that is being in the present moment and being in my body, and wondering how I can bring more of that into the day-to-day, the mundane, the getting into the car to collect the kids, the doing the laundry. And for me, it's having less time on social media, less time on my phone, less time consuming content, and more time in silence, and really being, it's mindfulness, being with the thing I'm doing, as I'm taking the laundry out of the washing machine, feeling the dampness of the clothes, feeling the texture of the clothes, putting them in to the basket and then hanging them up, and or vacuuming or whatever it might be, cooking, etc., preparing a meal, like really being with it. Sometimes I want to listen to a podcast, but before this, I would have always wanted to listen to something, either music or a podcast. And yeah, so it's that curiosity I have about that, and so even when my friend was here at the beginning of the week, that anticipation before she came, so the excitement of knowing she was coming to visit. But when she was here, I got into contact with that what I was saying to her, that I didn't want to get to, today, the end of the week, when she's gone, and feel, whoa, where did that go? I didn't even feel that she was here. And so I was really, because we spoke it out, and because the two of us are very good at explaining what's going on for ourselves and feeling into our bodies and feeling the sensations that are happening, we were able to then really come into that here and now. And I didn't feel then the transition. Often with transitions, when someone leaves and someone arrives, or that any transition can be quite tender for me. I can feel emotional, not always, crying and sometimes crying, but the transition of different things, the endings and beginnings, they're always big for me as well. But this week I didn't feel that, because I really felt I went through and was very close to the whole process of being with her, being together, being in our experiences, being with what was going on for me, and then being in intense gratitude for what we were experiencing. And we went to the beach and we were feeling our feet in the sand, and going to the water, and just being with all those bodily sensations, and breath as well. But for me, breath is a huge thing to bring me into presence. And knowing all these tools and things that can support us to being in presence. And it takes time. It takes a discipline and courage and energy, because, if I kept watching Netflix at nighttime, or filling my day in all the little moments that I have with the scrolling or the consuming, I don't get the space to get in touch with myself and get in touch with that presence. Now, the flip side is, when we start to do that, it can be a little bit painful, because we start to feel the sensations in our body. And that's new for a lot of us, to be that close to ourselves and to feel these weird feelings and discomfort and ickiness and awkwardness. And, thinking about the interaction you had with somebody, you feel things a lot more. You start to become more in tune with your body, which is amazing. But it's also, that the feeling with your body it can be a little intense at times. And I think having that awareness and knowing that discomfort and that feeling those sensations is not a bad thing. It's just a new thing, and it's just something to get used to. So that's what I've been with the last few days. So being aware of the impermanence of time, the impermanence of life, and being aware of death, and allowing grief to be here, and allowing ourselves to feel grief, then allows us to be more present. And joy. So joy and happiness and grief and sadness and anger, all these things need to be felt. And when all of those are felt and we cycle through those in our body, then we create space for presence. And we can be present within all those feelings as well. It's not a when then game. It's actually, as they're happening, we can be present. If we are present with them, then we can move them through our body as energy. It's only energy moving through us. But it's when we stop it and block it that it gets clunky and we can't be present, because there's not that free flowing movement through us. And I often think about that. Well, I've done a lot of meditations and things about the future self. And the future self is very useful, because you think about your future self. What would your future self say to you? For me, what's become really important the last while is, what would my last few days self say? So not necessarily on my deathbed, because that's quite dramatic and might be, but what would that really vital self, who is living her last few days or weeks, what would she say to me now? And what would she look back on and want to see her life as being? And what are the things that matter? What are the things that don't matter? What are the things that we can learn to let go of? And, for me, they have been, and I've talked about them a lot on this podcast, people pleasing. the good girl, being nice, worrying, anxiety, all those things that take up so much of our energy, caring what we look like, trying to go against aging, go against this natural process our body goes through of aging, of the lines, of the wrinkles, of the hair, of the silver strands, of all of these things. We spend so much time and energy. And will that version of me on my last days think, oh, it's a good thing you spend time, trying to keep yourself looking younger because you looked amazing. Wasn't it great? No, it'll be about the experiences, and it'll be about how I've felt, how I've connected with people. And even, if you look back at pictures of yourself, from your 20s or a few years ago, whatever age you are, a decade back, say, you'll probably be like, oh, wow, that was amazing. Look at me there. So let's have that appreciation and adulation for ourselves now in this moment, because in 10 years' time, again, you'll look back at today's version of you and think, wow, she had so much. She had, so much going for her, so much that she could have been grateful for and wasn't. And so it's getting into this gratitude and presence and feeling it all, and being with your anger, being with your grief, being with the pain. And the body is the portal. So it's the feeling the emotions and the tending to self, and the undoing of the conditional beliefs and patterns that are around for us to seek ahead of us, to look behind us rather than being here and now. And yeah, I've had just a lovely further deeper awakening about that this week, and deeper understanding of presence and what it means for me, and how I can navigate it, and how I can navigate transitions, and how I can navigate and create space and time to be with myself, and to really acknowledge the here and now, and in the smallest everyday tasks. And it can be in the smallest moments as well. It doesn't have to be, sit and meditate for an hour. That's not going to, it might give you presence, but it's, in my opinion, not the way. I think the way is to be with ourselves, stay close to ourselves, stay kind to ourselves as we come out of presence, and enjoy what we can in this life now, with the people around you now as they are. Like, connect with them, look in their eyes, and tell them how you feel. And it makes life so much more rich and nourishing and delicious. And what more can you ask for? With that, those micro moments become the big moments. It's not waiting for the big holiday. It's not waiting for the big success that you're going to have whenever what XYZ happens. It's the here and now today, and the little connection point you have with that stranger in the shops or whoever, and the connection point with yourself as well, of really hand on your heart, being with yourself, feeling your heartbeat, feeling this amazing ability for your body to keep going through space and time, day after day, morning after morning, as you wake up and realize this is a whole new day I get to live. So let me know how you get on with being with presence, and what your thoughts are on presence. Like, where are you with presence? Do you feel present in your days, or does it elude you at the moment? And is it something you think about? And yeah, let me know your thoughts. You can email me at hello@annaday.ie, or you can message me on Instagram at wildsimplicity, or you can reply in the comments here under this video or under this audio. And I will see you again next time. Thanks for listening. Thank you for joining me on this journey to wild simplicity. If today's episode inspired you to let go, simplify, and reconnect with your truest self, I would love for you to share it and help spread the word. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and follow along on Instagram at Wild Simplicity for more inspiration. Remember, life is precious, and you have the power to live it fully, freely, and fiercely. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep seeking, and keep embracing the wild possibilities of life.